get to the bag, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take this information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Monday, everybody. I got a very special guest, and I'm going to bring him up here in a second. But my team behind the scenes wants me to remind all of you, if you get value in what you hear here today, subscribe to the show if you're not subscribed, you guys. And if you're feeling really ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because that's how your network is going to get access to this. And if you saw value, chances are they're going to see value as well. All right. We're going to dive right in here, you guys. I love having companies come on this show that benefit the driver community. All right. I feel like the driver community out there is very underserved from a lot of the stuff that they are faced with out there. And there's very little technology that comes in and can like increase the profitability of their companies. That there's very little technology that I've seen out there that can help them with their downtime. Because, you know, my dad drove, he was an owner op for 40 years. And his famous saying that he always told me is Chris, if my wheels ain't turning, I ain't earning. And what we're talking about today is one of those things, because breakdowns are inevitable, but how fast can we get them back on the road? So I have Mr. Alex Bezzubets on the show today. He's the founder and CEO of myMechanic. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
No, Chris, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No, dude, I'm ready to break this down, right? And I'm not BSing when I say this. Like, I have seen very little technology out there for the driver community, let alone the smaller fleets, the owner operators and stuff. And again, maybe I just haven't seen it, but I haven't really noticed a lot of stuff out there that fleets of all sizes can take advantage of to help improve their operations. And when we were sending DMs back and forth on LinkedIn and everything, and the more I looked into your product here and stuff, I'm like, dude, this is like, I mean, even from like a roadside perspective of one, like if your truck, like, dude, we were driving home from Mexico. My in-laws still live down in Mexico, and we were driving up from that, and we had a blowout on our SUV. And you know, our guy called and he's like, hey man, I'll be there in 45 minutes. Fortunately, we were, you know, it was, but like, I was thinking, and after looking at this, I'm like, dude, how cool would it have been to like be able to see where they're actually at en route from an anxiety perspective? Because if you've ever been on the side of the road for anything, it's possibly the worst place you ever want to find yourself.
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, imagine being loaded and you're sitting on the side of the road stranded. You don't know what's going on. Is anything going to be done? Is anything going to happen? And I think some simple features like that GPS tracking of notification enabled, stuff like that, will already make you feel more comfortable knowing that something's being done, even if it's already being done, but actually being driver facing, making them connected to the road call. I think that's our goal.
Dude, I love it, man. So how did this get started? What happened, Alex, where you're like, dude, I'm going to create this and we're going to run with that? How did this all come to light?
So it's kind of a funny story, actually. We were in Dallas, and I started a roadside repair company,
Okay.
and I found out that you could make more money on the road than you can in a brick and mortar shop. Less overhead, more markup, etc. And so went out, found 5 roadside companies in Dallas, Texas. I brokered a deal with them, said, I'll pay you this much, run my calls for me. And I spent a bunch of marketing dollars, Google, all the directories out there. And one day, 3 months in, we get a call from a very, very big fleet. And I get excited because I'm like, dude, this is my way in. I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to get on their vendor list. I'm going to send the best technician. And they called me and they're like, hey, we have a trailer that has a jack stand that's stuck at one of our drop yards. Can you guys come out and knock it out? I'm like, absolutely. So I hang up, I go down my list of vendors, and to my luck, the only guy that was available was the least qualified guy on the bottom of the list. But I'm like, whatever, it's a quick job, short job. So I call Pepsi, give them the ETA, and then I just sit there and I wait. And I forget about the road call. I go to dinner with my wife. A couple hours later, the guy responds and he's like, hey, are you guys coming? And I took the call thinking that the payment's coming in. And I was like, yeah, let me call you right back. Let me check in with the tech. You should have been there, 2 hours ago. So I called the tech and he doesn't answer any of my calls. And then finally on the 11th try, he calls me back and he's like, hey dude, sorry about that. I was like, where are you? And he's like, I fell asleep at the gate. I was like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, get in there. He calls me 15 minutes later. It's done. I call for the payment, thinking these guys are never going to work with me again. We were unqualified, unprepared. I later found out the guy got high and passed out at the gate, and he was in a Camry. He wasn't even in his work truck. And all of that I knew, but the carrier did not know that. And, one of the following questions was, hey, can we add you to our network of service providers? And I was like pretty shocked. I was like, really? Like thinking we were unqualified, unprepared, all these things. And like, how did this happen? But, talking to the dispatcher, it turned out that their average wait time is about 4.5 hours. The driver could be on the phone anywhere from 15 minutes to 20 minutes to let dispatch know they broke down. And I kind of got to thinking, and I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so I hung up and I did a lot of market research, couldn't find anything. I even hired a firm to do, scour the market to find a product like this. And what I found was there's a lot of platforms out there that are centric to their business. Like Love's has a great platform, TA, Bridgestone, Goodyear, Michelin, all these centric businesses have great platforms that drive business to them alone. But you cannot go on one platform. You have to go on everybody's platform separately to see the availability, ETA, pricing, etc. And so we came out with the fundamental idea of like, what if we created a shared marketplace where as a fleet owner operator, whatever you are, RV driver, you don't have to go to everybody's app to see visibility or availability. You just come to myMechanic and myMechanic will show you, because we will tap into everyone, and vice versa. If you're a service provider, you don't have to download 15, 20 apps to get leads. You come to myMechanic where you manage your business, run your operations, your invoicing, billing, scheduling, tracking, everything, in addition to getting leads from all the other players. And so we launched last year, and it's been fun ever since.
Dude, I got a lot of questions here for you. So, even just going back, you were saying that their average wait time was 4.5 hours. Now, is that kind of standard? I mean, obviously, this is going to be very much dependent on what geographic location you're in, because you might be 4 hours from the nearest town, and stuff like that. So what does that look like from an average, breakdown time, or, if it's just something where it is just a simple, we got to, replace a couple of tires and stuff like that. Do you have a lot of that data at your disposal where you're going out there and saying like, hey, industry standard 6 hours, but we get it done in like 3? That was wild.
Yeah, okay. I got you. No, it is the industry standard of about 4.5 hours per wait time. And it's not necessarily that the mechanic is on site working for 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's from the guy from roll time, from the dispatch time to the roll time. And, I'm a big proponent on is, everyone's talking about a mechanic shortage in the industry. I think a bigger problem is the actual connection or connectivity to the mechanics, which is a bigger issue. Because at the end of the day, if you break down in Dallas, Texas, the likelihood of you calling everybody in Dallas, Texas down the list and then continuously calling because you don't know who freed up and who didn't, you could lessen that downtime. Whereas with myMechanic, we will know this guy just finished a job. You're waiting on somebody that's still got 3 hours of wait time. We can connect you to Johnny, who's 2 miles away. He just finished a tire. He can knock it out, in 30 minutes type of deal. And so I feel like with data, you can start lessening downtime. We've seen about a 40% drop in our customers with downtime, and that's just based on visibility. And I think a lot of what has to do with the 4-hour wait time is they never show up, and you don't know until the time passes, and then you call and you're like, hey, are you going to come or not? And they never came out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man, is it's like trying to think of the best way to put this, because you have a false sense of thinking that everybody operates with the most urgency to their operations, right? And you see that across every industry, like you want to move quick, but other people might not move as quick, right? And and then especially if you're on like a critical shipment, right? Like you got a reefer, possibly running low on fuel, like you need to get that shit moving, you got to get it fixed. And and like you said, like that time there of like, hey, there might be a guy who could be over there who's like 3 miles away, just like from a risk perspective as well. Like there's so many different variables that come to mind when you're broken down like that, and then bringing that visibility. And it's interesting that you say that about the technician shortage out there, because obviously you see a lot of that there is going to be a massive technician shortage, that we're already experiencing it. And you already see that on the driver's side, right? Like people are trying to say there's a driver shortage, which I don't believe that there's a driver shortage at all. But we're not here to debate that today. We're here to talk about this. And so what do you think it's because, maybe the roadside industry might just be, antiquated, right? There's not a lot of tech that's at their disposal where, those independent shops could sign up. And this is my next question is that how this works, right? Like if I own Chris Jolly Roadside Repair here in Phoenix, am I able to register on myMechanic, create a profile like, hey man, here's all my services. We have trailer technicians on site. We have diesel mechanics on site and stuff like that, where we can go in and utilize that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so, in that context, like we would back up, some of our first customers, they do 20, 30 million a year. And believe it or not, but they did pencil paper text messages.
Yeah.
We talked to a customer last week. These guys probably do like clear $1 million a month, and they have a group chat with their 6 technicians.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'll give you a tool that manages your technicians better, but we'll feature you in our directory secondary to that. And fleets that are in the area, they can request your services based off your technicians and your capabilities. I like to compare it to the Uber-like experience, where at the end of the day, Johnny broke down, Johnny requested Chris, who's down the road. Chris gets connected to him without a single phone call in between, and track him en route, communicate with him, chat, labor approval, part approval, everything is done. And even on the fleet standpoint, driver breaks down, whether it's a platform science integration, what have you, submit the breakdown, dispatch gets notified in real time, no more calling in on a hotline. Dispatch sees the type of breakdown, location of breakdown, sees the preferred vendor list around that area, can submit that ticket to the vendor without having to make a call. The vendor gets a request, hey, this guy broke down. Chris, can you take this? You have 2 mechanics that are in the area. Which mechanic do you want to select? They select the mechanic, and it connects the triangle where everybody, including the driver and the technician, are all on one user face. No app required, no download required, no registration required. There could be a browser version experience, all to make this as seamless as possible.
So, again, I'm trying to factor in the human emotion here, Alex, that if I'm on the side of the road, it's my vehicle that's broken down. I'm not a mechanic. How are you working towards like maybe fixing the misdiagnostics, right? As opposed to, hey, it's making this sound. Is there a way where drivers can upload photos of anything like that? So then the mechanic who's, could possibly make sure that they're bringing the right tools out there just to kind of save a trip in one of those instances.
100% video upload, picture upload. We also pull fault codes. So a lot of times the mechanic will come out on site just to diagnose and call the fleet and say, hey, you need to get this towed. Where the fleet could have known that up front and started towing the truck right away, right? Lessen that downtime. So upfront information, and there's a lot of people that are doing a great job with that in Oregon, diesel laptops, where they're trying to provide all this information up front so that the service provider and the fleet could have that information and make a better decision with which route they're going to go, which we're seeing a lot of fleets are now just turning to, let's just tow the truck to our nearest terminal, let's just tow the truck. And why not? What if it is something simple that can be done on the side of the road and you have a mechanic 2 miles away and you don't have to pay that huge towing bill, so it works both ways.
Do you think, like, I mean, you brought up the, a guy can show up and just say, hey, you guys need to tow this in. How are you, like, what type of breakdowns are you guys able to handle on there? Is there that limit where it's like, dude, this probably isn't going to happen in today's day and age with technology, but like, hey man, the engine's ceased, right? Like it's not even turning over something. It's like, level 12 emergency and stuff like that. Are you guys able to handle that? Or is there kind of like a level to it where it's like, hey, our stuff's good up to this point?
So myMechanic is pure SaaS. We will never run a road call. We will never own a mechanic or
Mhm.
mechanic truck or a fleet. Our three customers are fleets, owner operators, motorhomes, RVs. In the middle, we have call centers that have relationships with the fleets and the service providers. And on the other side, you have your towing, your parts, and your service centers. And we purely connect, we're pure SaaS. We connect the parties together. And the goal is we have if somebody wants a call center, they don't want to just use pure SaaS. We have partners that we will connect them to. They interview and they decide who they want to go with. If there's a service provider, they will see their capabilities and they will select that service provider. And again, it's not a perfect world. There's always something more. You come out for a flat tire and everything else is broken, but the vision and the goal is to have most qualified technicians with their upfront rates, with their tools that they have, the capabilities, the pictures of their trucks, everything up front so that the fleet or the call center can make a better decision up front and lessen that downtime.
Are you able to, I mean, are you able to process payments and stuff on your guys' app where the roadside guy, because, again, today's day and age, whether it's credit card, ACH, something like that, are you guys able to do all of that on that app for, the driver and the mechanic themselves?
Yeah, so we have a couple different payment merchants that we're partnered with, but even a more important partnership we're about to release here in the next coming weeks. It's with one of the largest factoring companies where there's a big problem in the service industry where a fleet wants to make one payment a month, right? For example, your 10,000 truck fleet doesn't want to go and make 15,000 accounts with every service provider and keep paying everybody different. They just want to make one payment. On the other hand, the service provider want to get paid instantly. A lot of these guys are living paycheck to paycheck. They pay for the parts with their own credit cards and they want to get paid for that job instantly. And so what we want to offer is our service providers will get paid instantly with zero to little factoring, depending on their level of responses. And we think that's going to be one of the biggest solutions to their problems is instant payouts, little to no fees. And at the end of the day, the fleet themselves can factor those payments and not have to make, 30,000 payments a month for every service call that they have.
Yeah, that's I mean, obviously you get this as well, man, as a business owner. I was just literally talking about this the other week as well. It's like, dude, cash flow, access to capital, managing your cash flow is, I think it is the biggest hurdle for 99% of small businesses out there. And I'm not just pulling that statistic out of thin air. I'm being like 100% serious with that. Is managing your cash flow is everything. And if you've ever had the fortunate / unfortunate gut experience of being owed tens of thousands of dollars and having to pay tens of thousands of dollars in payables and not having the capital to utilize in that moment. I don't know if this is going to fully affect you at all, but dude, that's the most gut wrenching thing as a founder.
Oh yeah.
You do all of that work out there on the front end and, managing that, building liquidity it's so hard when you're getting started. And even if you've been years in business, man, just having emergency funds in place to help you bridge that gap, dude, it's crucial.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, I think even an even more important step is when you are dealing with factoring and all that, and your cash flow is tight, and then a new lead comes in, and you're dictating whether you take another job or not because your money's tied up with the previous ticket. It sucks because it can limit your business. And true story, a couple of weeks ago, I was meeting with one of our customers for dinner just to hear them out, what's going on in the industry. And they showed me paperwork where one of the fleets that they work with, it's about 90% of their work. Let's say they got billed $10,000 every day and they only get $8,000 of that ticket and it gets paid a week and a half later because of that factoring, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the pain and because they're using everything they have. They're a family-owned business. And I'm like, let me give you, let me help you get your life back. Let's bring your road calls online. And true story, man, within like 30 minutes after that conversation, the wife, who is one of the bigger parts of the business, has a stroke and they take her to the ER during dinner. And I'm like, dude, it was crazy. Yeah. So we're texting back and forth. Thank God she was okay. The next morning, the owner calls me. He's like, all right, we need to talk, man. It showed them how dependent they were, not only on people, but other businesses for the livelihood of their family, first and foremost, and secondary, their family-owned business. And so we're like, okay, man, let's take your whole roadside operation online. Your wife doesn't have to manage all these freaking road calls coming in, texting and hoping that something happens. You have an operating system in addition to, let's start diversifying your business so that you're not dependent on one fleet particularly. Let's start diversifying your business and opening up your services to other fleets that are in the area as well. But like a pure life case example in real time.
I also look at it like this, man, access to jobs as well. How many, again, there's a common misconception out there because you start a business, you just have all of these opportunities that are just coming to you at every given moment, which is the biggest fallacy that's
Oh
out
yeah.
there. How much more work are these small to mid-size roadside repair companies able to process now because now people have even more, like a better understanding of what they do, where they're at, their ability to say like, hey, I'm available to go right now in this moment. I mean, you know this just as well as I do, Alex. The best ability in entrepreneurship is availability.
Oh
And if
yeah.
you're available, dude, and you're have an ability to get onto that
Oh yeah.
next call just like that, man, that's got to improve their margins exponentially.
100%. Average road call, 7 to 10 phone calls per call. Okay.
Oh shit.
It could be from status updates, which is the majority of the calls, and not even counting. That's if you find a mechanic off the first couple calls.
Yeah.
If you just break down in Dallas and you start going down a list of vendors, getting pricing, average call minute, 2 minutes, and then you do 10, 15 calls, there, boom, there's your time right there. But what we can do is we can eliminate 85% of all phone calls because you have status updates, you have chat feature internally with every road call. If you're a fleet, you break down in an area where there is no mechanic on our platform, you can call them off of any good directories out there like NTTS Truck Down Google. You find that service provider and say, hey, listen, I'm going to send you a one-time link for myMechanic. Open it up on your phone or your email. You don't have to register or download an app. You open up that link based off your phone number or your email, and you have visibility on the location of our driver. All parts approval, labor approval will be done through the platform. Let me know when you're on. And you could ping them if they're not responding. You get timestamps of everything that's happened, all picture uploads, features, everything is uploaded into a ticket at the end of it, where you could just print a PDF and say, okay, this is with the road call, and this is the invoice, and this is the lapse time and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing up a ton of good points here, Alex, and it is right. Like you want to, you keep bringing up Dallas. Not everybody breaks down near a major metro area, though, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
Talking about that though, that aggregate is that one-stop shop, right? Because obviously the first thing on anybody's mind, whether you're the driver, if it's your brokered load that's broke down, or you're the fleet owner that self is how do we get this guy fixed and running again? And now just having that, right? Because again, you guys, like, people listen to me because I actually do the fucking job, right? Like I'm not just a pretty face, although that is a large part of why people tune in. Like, dude, we're out here trying to find cross-docking facilities at times. I've been in that situation where it was one of our drivers who broke down. And, again, as a broker, my job is more than just building loads and tendering them, right? So if it's my shipment that's having an issue, like, I want to go out there and help, right? So that's always my first thing. Hey, what can I do? And especially if it's an owner operator, like, dude, I'm in a office. I have 2 computer screens right in front of me. I can start Googling and start sending you phone numbers for you to dial, right? So it's like having a tool like this, man. Like, this isn't just for the driver and the fleet, and then the roadside community, man. Brokers should be on this as well, and that should be your first thing. Like, hey, go to myMechanic. Have you heard about this? Because again, it's all about improving that efficiencies.
You're 100% right. We did not know that brokers would be a big customer of ours, but it's turning out that it is. Trailers, we have great partnerships with companies like Repower, where hey, if this reefer is out of commission, Repower can say, hey, there's a trailer you can do a short-term lease on 2 miles away. So there's different avenues we're getting into, because you're right, there's this demand in the industry. And to your point about remote locations, one use case that we're really excited about, imagine there's a winter storm and there's a pileup of 30 trucks. That city is overwhelmed with leads. Now there's a couple states below, or 2-3 hours away, that are tow trucks that are sitting looking for work. Why doesn't myMechanic push a notification and says, hey, listen, 2 hours away, there's about 30 tickets outstanding. Do you want to go out there and knock some of these out? And so what we want to do is also, using the data we will have and the audience that we will have, we will start aggregating and saying, hey, listen, Chris, there's this void location between Arizona and Mexico, and there's about 15 calls a week. Nobody's there. Do you want to maybe place a truck over there, so that a tow truck or a service truck? So we're really trying to, first and foremost, be a communicative tool, bring road calls online. Secondary, become a marketplace. And third, start driving traction to where areas of lack, help fleets, help service providers, help call centers to be able to connect it in every facet, including parts as well.
Hey, Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what is going on. This is on my end here. It does.
You're good.
Internet signals were up there. Welcome to reality, ladies and gentlemen. It's not always going to be perfect.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask about this, man. So is this something you brought up weather events out there? Is this something where if it is just a simple tow, right? You hit I-80 snowstorm, you got in the ditch. Are you able to go on here and get a tow to come out and a wrecker to come out and pull you out and stuff like that?
Absolutely. We do roadside towing, parts, and shops.
Okay.
Roadside, be connected to a roadside mechanic for any roadside needs, towing company, any towing needs, service centers, all your shops, be able to schedule PMs, availability, kind of like a Yelp feature. And then lastly, parts distribution. If a truck, one of your fleets or trucks owner operators breaks down, for them to have a mechanic go pick up the part, the mechanic has to pack up his tools, drive, pick up the part, do a 30% markup plus mileage, come back and install that part. Whereas we want to be able to have small businesses feature their parts stores. You'll be able to request that part. We'll have DoorDash, Uber Eats deliver that part on site, lessening the downtime again, and improving your margins because now you're not paying a markup because somebody had to go take the time out of the day to pick up the part across the town.
Dude, I'm pumped about this, man. Like this is just one of those things. And again, if you guys want to go on to their website and everything here, just seeing kind of like the visuals of it, right? Where it's like, I mean, I like the on your guys' main screen where it shows, hey, this technician's on this job doing this work and stuff like that. And just kind of like, and again, to me, it's just that peace of mind because a lot of things are thought about in a perfect world controlled environment, right? Like it's a lot easier to think about starting a business when you're getting a salary every 2 weeks being direct deposited, right? It sounds so great. Just
Right.
like all of this stuff sounds like a great idea when your truck's running perfectly, but that human emotion that comes in where it's like, it's your breakdown, it's your problem now, that stress that is, and then on top of it as well, like you were bringing up, man, do you actually have the funds to pay for this repair? Because that's a very real problem for a lot of people out there. So it's like that factoring option that that you're talking about there, man. Like, dude, I'm excited to see where this goes, right? And especially if this is, a year in for it, right? Like, I mean, this is exactly what tool is needed out there. And this is not designed for just the large fleets that are out there. Obviously, they can use it, but like this is a tool that solo owner operator, or that small fleet can jump in and utilize to help improve their operations.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, we launched end of last year. We had our MVP launched last year, but end of last year we launched our enterprise level. Right now we're managing a little under 300,000 units, both on the fleet side, on the service,
Wow.
on the trailer side, or on the unit side, the tractor side. And a little over 1,000 actually technicians live either in our director or using our system as a management software. So, and then we have about 5 call centers as well that are using the platform to manage their day-to-day roadside incidents. So we're excited. We know we're kind of where we're headed. I think a lot of people did a great job focusing on the fleets. The service industry itself has been outdated and kind of left behind. And so we spent the first year meeting with service providers, hearing what's going on in the industry. We have a couple really key players in the industry that help motivate and mold the systems and coming on board to help kind of take this a little further. But I think it's only going to get much, much bigger from here. So we're really, really excited.
Oh, dude, I love this, man. And then what about like PMs, preventative maintenance? Are drivers able to go in there and schedule that stuff out? So it's like, hey, man, I got a 36-hour reset. I'm going to be in this city. Can you, pre-order? Like you can schedule out an Uber to have somebody come in and do all of that?
Absolutely. On-site PMs, detailing, fueling, all of that stuff will be done through the platform. I think the future is slowly weaning towards more roadside, more, fleets are like, hey, listen, I'm tired of sending a bunch of trucks to your shop. Just have somebody come out to me at one of our drop yards and knock it out. Or to your point, an operator pulling over into a rest area and he's got a reset. Why not knock something out? So we're really trying to tailor that and be ahead of the game on that. So that's kind of where we're headed. Yeah.
Sonny Sharma has a question. He is a broker, he owns a brokerage out there. How can we help promote this product, man? What from the broker community specifically?
Yeah, Sonny, I appreciate it. From Sonny's perspective, somebody's hauling your load. You need to impress your customer. That driver breaks down, doesn't know what he's doing. He can get connected to myMechanic. We either have a call center that can take that call, one of our partners, through the platform, or he can just find a mechanic available through the platform and get that, get that truck off the road. Or you, Sony, yourself, you could kind of help them assist, because at the end of the day, a lot of these people, they don't know what's going on. They've never broken down, or they have, and they've had bad experiences. And there's not one single formula that's going to make it all happen, because every single city, state, and mechanic is different, operates differently. And so it's all over the place. But yeah.
What about this, man? Like, even though I'm not associated, like it's my freight that's on this truck that's broken down as a broker. Are we able to receive notifications on the progress of the work, even though I'm not paying the invoice? I got nothing to do with this shit at all.
Absolutely.
Because like from a broker's perspective, right? It's just like keeping the customer informed, right? And I don't want to wear that driver out who's, again, stressful situation, broke down on the side of the road, bunch of stuff going on. Is that is that something that I can go in and get notifications on?
Absolutely. Either you can do it, your customers can do it, your brokers can be involved on the ticket. They can get notifications, and even more importantly, your shipper as well. If you want your shipper to be associated to the ticket, where they can see the status of the breakdown, just maybe they don't believe you, because a lot of owner operators are completely say, "Oh, I have a blown tire" or whatever, and it really wasn't, because they were late. But this could actually bring the road call online, and whoever you want could be associated and follow along, tracking the mechanic en route, seeing what's going on. And that way everyone's informed without having to make unnecessary phone calls or emails.
Dude, I love it. Alex, thank you so much for your time today, man. How does anybody reach out to you guys, though, to find out more? How do they connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can find us on LinkedIn, online, or email me directly, alex@mymechanic.app. But we'd love to give a demo. We're doing lots of promotions, lots of pilots right now. We got a lot of great announcements coming out as well, so stay tuned on LinkedIn. But Chris, I appreciate you having me. Love the podcast, and excited for the future, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. That's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. If you're feeling really ambitious, which you should be after this one, rank the show as well on iTunes and Spotify, because if you saw value, that's how your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.